rookie kind of bowl, novice stuff. You see, I turned it with a plate. You can still see the holes where the plate was mounted. And this was a dry piece of wood. So there's no cellular collapse anywhere. And I had a real hard time with it. You can see where I'd used some drill mechanism to, maybe on the drill press, to take some of this stuff down. I was having a real tough time with it. And that's why it's not very thin. I was lucky to get it this far, I think, for the way that I was doing it. And I don't remember exactly how I was doing it. It was a long time ago, but very, very early in my, my work. I wouldn't do that again. I like a thinner edge. I like the live edge on one side, but man, you got to make that thin. And to do that, you got to have a lot more skills than I've got. So it takes a lot more bowls, a lot of bowls.
How many bowls have you turned?
You probably count them on two hands. Big bowls, yeah. You probably count them on two hands. It's a real finger thumper, you know. It takes its tolls on your hands because you're right there. For me, lacking good skill level, I'm at more jeopardy than someone with a high skill level. And so there's a sufficient amount of competence to do what you're trying to do that's required. And for a rookie, you don't have that. And that's where your danger comes in, is not having that and being gung-ho. And that can make injuries. So I'm reluctant to continue until I read some more, do some more video searches and view some more successful wood turners before I get any more big bowls going. I think my next big bowl, I'll definitely want to watch some videos before I start. Just for safety's sake. I want to see what they're doing and see how they're bolting stuff down. And there's a lot of strength required for turning and a lot of finesse at the same time and a lot of danger. I mean, just one slip of and you've lost something because things are moving and you've got counter stops. You just get something in between there one time and it thumps you really hard and it'll discourage you really, really bad. And sanding, same way. Try to sand that sucker as it goes around. And there's a certain amount of that you can do, yeah. But oh man, you got to be careful. None of this stuff I know how to clean up with just a chisel. Definitely sanding has to go. And almost all of it requires standing the thing still and doing the sanding at the end to do the finished touch-up.
Where the cracks come from? Is that just time?
Yeah, that's part of the tree, you know. This is probably the pith line in the tree. It's not dead center of the tree, but it's probably close enough to still get some weakness from the original pith line. When I saw logs, I don't really care where the pith line is. I'm just looking for thickness. I'll sort all that out later. The pith line has been particularly good to me. I use that defect with turquoise and coffee and resin, and I make use of that defect in a spectacular way. Some pieces are book matched with that defect. It looks great. It's a live edge right in the middle of the piece. What's not to like? You know, you make the whole thing formal, and you still got this wicked fracture in the center that makes a live. Nature brings itself right back. Something you didn't control, and no way to control that. You know, the first year growth is real weak compared to the rest of the tissues, and cellular collapse just spreads that open when you cut it. It's all tight when you cut it, but first week or so, bam, it just appears. I bumped my fingers on that one lots and lots of times. Yeah. In fact, I got it so thin, I thought I was getting too thin. You can see how thin it is here. And so that's another one of the problems with wood turners is you can make it so thin it just goes bam, it just blows up on you. Once it loses its ability to stay together, it becomes imbalanced. And once it's imbalanced, it starts throwing itself at you at different rates, and your tool, no matter where it is going to be in the way. And so probably the best thing that can happen to an imbalanced piece is just toss it in the trash. You know, once it gets that far, it's just gone. This one was really close to being too far gone. Picture the log running this way. This is the high side of the log. This is the edge of the log. but the log was this big, you see, this big, about that big, probably a 20-inch log. And I cut this part off and that part off, and then I turned on the lathe and turned the rest of it on the inside. So, cellular collapse. Yeah, it's this stuff right here, right in there. You can feel it. And here, you can see right through there, that's real low, and this is high, and it just collapses when it's green. It had more than that, but I cleaned it up one day with a little sander. You can see down in here, I couldn't reach the sand very well with the sander. You can see some cellular collapse right there. Yeah, this was a green piece.
How long ago did you turn this?
Oh man, who knows? Maybe 25 years ago.
Like a vase?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you have to put a little glass insert in it. Yeah, that's important. Or maybe fill it with resin and then dump the resin. You could do that, but it's still going to crack. Wood and water doesn't mix very well. So you can make it, just put a little time into finding a glass insert. Mama complaining that Nancy's bothering her. Mama wants a nap. She sleeps a lot nowadays. 18-year-old dog. Yeah, you can make a decent floral base. I wouldn't call it a vase. I call it a floral base. You know, when you have a big bunch of flowers, like my wife grows cut flowers, these zinnias, and sometimes she'll bring them in. When, on a good year, we'll have just cut flowers all the time. This year wasn't so good because new dogs. But next year, the dogs will be a little more, better at that. And yeah, you need a kind of a tall thing with some weight so that the weight of the flowers won't knock it over. And it needs to be cut out in such a way that you can put something deep enough to hold those stems in some water. You know, it kind of is defeating for original work to look at other people's work. Because if you don't just pull it out of nature somewhere or something that's organic that's sitting in front of you, it's almost impossible to think of a new idea. I mean, look at all the trouble people have when put on the spot just to think about another person's name when put on the spot. You know, you've seen those guys that come up to someone and say, to a woman, they'll say, name another woman. And when they put you on the spot, you kind of go blank. It's the same thing that happens when you're trying to be creative. You can't turn that on. If you got to think about that stuff all day long, because you're looking to put an idea into wood sculpture that is good to look at, economical to make, balanced, and not going to fall over and kill somebody. And there's a lot of requirements that take out a lot of design. So it's very difficult to come up with original works. If you like the videos, please subscribe. It helps me do more videos and bring more content to more users. Thank you.